And we are live. Hey, fellow riblets, it's me, Tom from Target Prime Rib. I see
Hi
we got
guys.
three people in the chats, and I got my best friend here, Lexis Jones, from Healing Humanity. Hi, Lexi. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. So today is Lexi's day. So just really quickly, we'll go in the chats real quick because there's only three, so might as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Granny Boo says hi, Thomas and everyone. So you're everyone, I guess. And then Sandy says hi. And then Terry B, which you should know Teresa from Healing Humanity, says hi to Sandy and hi to Granny Boo from North Carolina. And Don Schrunger just joined the chat. I met him in Boston in the Boston meetup. So and Rockin' Keto Amy just joined us. She just subscribed to Lexi's channel. So there you
Yay.
go. Okay.
Thanks, Keto Amy.
It is a cool name, right? Rockin' Keto Amy. Like she's like
Yeah.
you imagine her being like a rock star, you know.
Yeah.
So Keto Simple, Dustin just joined. I don't know if you know anything about his channel or anything like that, but he works a lot with Chris Cooking Nashville. So
Mm-hmm.
um, and then Lisa, hey Lisa, how you doing? So all right, so we got a lot of people here, and I'm sure we'll get some more people. And every once in a while, I probably will interrupt you. I do apologize. So what I'll do is I will just put my finger up, basically,
Sure.
and that will be
Yeah,
a
feel free.
that'll be an indication. So then that way, if I see something or see somebody new coming on, I'll try to acknowledge them and everything.
Okay.
Right
Yeah,
now,
feel free to interrupt me anytime.
thank you. I appreciate that. Um, so I'm gonna sit back, relax. I'm gonna take a nap. Just kidding.
Oh my
And
gosh.
the show is all yours.
Oh
You
my gosh.
just take a deep breath and just start anywhere. Okay, let me ask you some questions. Please be. Oh, Andrea is on. I met her too. She's part of the Kilt's Mighty Tribe. Um, so hello, Andrea. So, what brought you to carnivore?
So
Quite
I kind
simple.
of have an idea. I have an idea of where I want to start. So
Okay.
I've had I've had mental health issues basically my whole life since like the third or fourth grade. I've struggled with anxiety and depression, but my mental health reached its lowest point in 2017 when I was 20 years old and I had my first psychotic episode. It was very severe. It lasted from January of that year until about like after June, like probably the first week of July of 2017. And my first memory of psychosis that year was in January. And I just remember it was like almost midnight. And I was watching this late night talk show, the Stephen Colbert Show. I don't know if you've heard of that, but
I knew Stephen
it's a,
Colbert.
yeah, yeah, popular. So I was watching it, and he had Jon Stewart on. They're like best friends, and they were just joking around. Around the end of the show, they were both sitting behind Colbert's desk, and they were like scribbling on their notes and throwing the papers around. And obviously, they're just joking around. But my brain at that moment took that as them telling me that the world was ending and that everyone knew about it, and they were like letting me know. Like I thought they were sending me a message through the TV.
Right.
And so that was the first sign of psychosis that I remember.
That must have been pretty
It
scary.
it was. Yeah, well, okay, so I had that night. The next morning actually, I was like I wasn't excited, but like I remember trying to look on the news to see if it was on the news, like to
Oh,
see if everybody had heard it that the world was ending, and they were telling me. Obviously, like that makes no sense. There was nothing in the news that was that was saying that. But anyways, so it started with that, and then as the weeks and the months went on, it started to spiral into first me thinking that these great powers that be, these corporations were after me, that they were trying to kill me, and like for example, some of the delusions that I had were like about Scientologists and Russian spies and like Boost Mobile, my phone company. Like I thought they were all. I know I'm laughing and it's very serious, but I thought they were all after me because like I knew their secrets. Um, and like it was
Right.
actually like I'm laughing, but it was actually really scary. And just imagine every day, all day, thinking that you're about to die and like someone's gonna murder you. Like
Uh,
it's yeah, it's like I feel like only I mean not only, but I feel like the people who have experienced like a near death experience or like have had their life threatened can like understand the feeling of that. Where like it it's like you're constantly in fight or flight mode. And like I would describe these like me being triggered and then feeling that as like my face would get hot, my head would get hot, and like my whole body would tense up and I would feel the need to either like run or hide or I would usually freeze and in the moment and just be so terrified that I couldn't even talk. And so that was constant. And also, as the months went on, I started. Don't judge me, but I started to. I
not here.
started.
Not me.
Okay, I started to believe that I was the Messiah, and eventually started to believe that I needed to die for people's sins in order to save the world. That was my delusion, along with the paranoid ones, and like feeling that way. Sorry, hold
You're,
on.
you're doing great.
um, that feeling of thinking you're the Messiah, these grandiose delusions. It's like you, because I thought I was getting messages to the world, from the world, the people in the world, through like the TV, the radio, books, even, and music. And it's like, I thought that they were talking to me through those things, especially in music. Like, if I was listening to a happy song, I thought that was the world praising me, worshiping me, telling me how much they love me. And if I was listening to a sad song, I thought that was the world sharing their pain with me and telling me that they were dying and that I needed to save them. And just the weight of that, like feeling, I know this sounds crazy and it wasn't real, obviously, but feeling like you need to save the world and feeling like the whole world is counting on you. It's like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like, it's just heavy and heartbreaking. And then the feeling of praising, people praising you and worshiping you is like intense love. And I'm not romanticizing psychosis at all, but I've never experienced that level of love before, and obviously it wasn't real, but like, anyways, so it was like that feeling of thinking you're the Messiah is all three like exhilarating, heartbreaking, and terrifying because you think you have to kill yourself in order to save the world. And so, sorry, I'm like, I hope I'm making sense. I'm like, anyways,
You're doing,
so
yeah. I mean, this
what does that
is
say?
you're. It says, Rocket Amy. I just thought it'd be a good thing to put up there. I can't imagine that, Lexi. I've had severe anxiety with high blood pressure, but I can't imagine hallucinating. I'm so glad you are healing your mind and body. No one is judging you.
Thank you, Amy. So I'll, I'll get back to the story. So,
Oh,
so I was having. Oh, sorry.
and she said something else too, but just really quickly, I'm sorry. Have you heard of Valerie Smith? Her story is also compelling. She nearly died from 7 mental health disorders. She has very compelling story if you want to know that you are not alone. So
I
that's
think I've heard of her. Is she the redhead? The woman, the older woman
um
with the red hair?
what- is her name Valerie? Yeah, it might be her. Yeah, and she also had a dyslexia problem, I think, where she like was really thin. If it's the same person.
Oh, anorexia?
Anorexia, I'm sorry. Dyslexia, anorexia.
Yeah,
Well,
I've
dyslexia
heard
is where you talk backwards, right?
of.
It's like, oh, that's not
Yeah,
too
no,
big of a problem, you know? Uh,
yeah. I have heard her story though. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and she she had schizophrenia and was able to heal it through the carnivore diet, and she was like the main person that like gave me hope when it came to carnivore. But I'll go back to my story. So all that happened, and then the first week of June of 2017, I was finally hospitalized, like involuntarily. Thank God, because I was not doing well. I was living with my sister, and it was just torment, like those daily delusions, that paranoia, all day, every day, just torment. And so finally I was hospitalized. I stayed in the hospital for about 5 weeks. I was probably the worst person there, constantly freaking out. But anyways, so after 5 weeks, I was let out. Eventually, I moved into my own public housing apartment. Um, it was sober living. I mean, it took me a while to get sober while I was living there. I was supposed to stay sober. But anyways, so moved into there. Then in 2018, the end of 2018, I managed to get a part-time job and I started school. And the whole time I was experiencing psychosis. On like not as intense as my first episode, but still, like, there were times where it was better, times where it was way worse. But it overall, it was like manageable to the point where I could work and go to school. So I did that for a few years. I had paranoid delusions, like walking home from work, I'd just be so terrified, even during the day. And like I had to take the bus to get to school. And I was scared doing that. I don't like bus stops. They just freak me out. I don't like being surrounded by people like that. I mean, maybe it'd be different now. I'm not sure. I haven't taken the bus in a long time, but anyways, um, so over the years, I was working that part-time job and going to school. Did that for a few years, and then um, I ended up getting promoted to a different job in like 2021, I think. Got promoted at the same place I'd been working at. That was a horrible job. I mean, like, I just wasn't prepared for it, and during that time, I actually ended up having another psychotic episode that was pretty severe. Not severe enough for me to be hospitalized, but like enough for it to affect my job. And so worked that job for a while, and then got switched over to a different position. But anyways, since I had to move out of my public housing apartment, I didn't have those guardrails that made it so I knew I couldn't drink. And I didn't really want to be sober. So once I moved out of the public housing apartment and into a real apartment with a roommate, I pretty immediately started drinking again. And that quickly spiraled into me drinking every day and becoming more and more psychotic again, which like I had gotten a little bit better after I'd been promoted and had that psychotic episode for a few months. I started to get better because I got a psychiatrist again and we changed my meds around. But anyways, since I started drinking, my meds became less effective. And so it just I got so depressed and anxious and suicidal. And so finally in March of 2022, I quit my job and I checked myself into the hospital, the psych ward, and stayed in the psych ward for about a week just because I was suicidal. That was the main thing that I needed to be hospitalized for, and the psychosis, but it was more the suicidal thoughts and the depression that were really getting to me. So went to the hospital for about a week, then eventually moved into a sober house, which I stayed at for about 8 months. While I was in the sober house, I actually did get sober, and I've been sober since then, since June 19th of 2022. Um, but yeah, I still was experiencing psychosis on and off. This is like several year journey of like just mental health symptoms and all that. But yeah, so I managed to get sober, was living at that sober house, and then finally, oh, and I was in treatment from the time I moved into the sober house until about February of the next year, 2023. Um, so I forgot what I was talking about. I'm so sorry.
I
What
do
was
that
I
all the time. Just like right in the middle of
saying?
the conversation too. It's like I just, I just want to say It's not my
Anyways.
fault.
Oh, well, okay, so I was just gonna say, so while at the end of me being in treatment, I ended up moving into my first group home. And um so I moved into the group home, graduated from drug and alcohol treatment, and I was still having symptoms. It seemed like every few months me and my psychiatrist were upping my antipsychotic. And I was getting so desperate. And I remember at one point my psychiatrist told me, like, hey, if we keep going down this route, I'm gonna have to put you on this last resort antipsychotic. I'm not gonna say the name of it, but it has pretty severe side effects, and you have to get your blood tested once a week for like about 6 months to a year, and then once a month for the rest of the time you're on it. And there's tons of other side effects too, and I was just like, can't take that. I will never take that medication.
Right. That's
And
yeah.
so
That's
that
so scary.
yeah, and weight gain too. That was another thing I didn't want. Was already like at that point I was 218 pounds, and I didn't want to gain any more. Um, So I just was searching all over the internet for all the different antipsychotics that were out there and what their side effects were. And all of them were horrible. And I was like, God, what am I supposed to do? Like, my meds that I'm taking now either aren't working, or I'm just becoming so severe that I need more medication. I wasn't sure. Still to this day, don't know. But one day, so I was doing all that research, and then I come across this video where Dr. Chris Palmer was being interviewed. He had already had a bunch of them like earlier, but I found this one and I started watching it, and I just remember him telling his story about his patient that he'd had for many years who had schizoaffective disorder, bipolar type, and this man was treatment resistant, and he has on a ton of medications. All of them had made him gain a bunch of weight, and so he came to Dr. Palmer one day and was like, I want to lose weight. And so Dr. Palmer, he'd been using ketogenic therapy to treat major depression, treatment resistant major depression for like, at that point, like over a decade, I think. I can't remember, but it was for a long time. And so, but he had no idea that ketogenic diet would do anything for this man's schizoaffective disorder, schizophrenia especially. And so he puts him on the diet thinking he's only going to lose weight. And after a couple of weeks, this man comes back and he's like, those hallucinations? They're starting to go away. And then he comes back another couple months later and he's like, because like this man had these delusions, kind of like I did, where he thought these powerful families were putting thoughts in his head and were trying to kill him and everything. But he told Dr. Palmer, he was like, those delusions are those thoughts I used to have where I thought these families were after me and everything. I don't think that's true. I think I was schizophrenic this whole time, and I think it's starting to go away. And hearing that, oh my gosh, I just got so much hope. I was like sigh of relief, like there's an answer to my problem or my mental health issues, my schizophrenia. And so I heard that. I started watching all of his podcast interviews. I still watch them,
Of
like
course,
because
you find your
he has
favorite
new
and watch it. Yeah.
yeah. And so I just started researching a bunch, and by it took me a while to start, but September 1st of 2023, I finally started the diet. Um, I managed to stick to it consistently for about a month. And by the third week, I realized that I hadn't had like a delusional or paranoid thought. Like I just couldn't remember the last time I'd had one. And so at that moment, I was like, I know this works. Like it's working. But unfortunately, after the end of the fourth week, I ended up binging on a bunch of sugar and carbs. And what's crazy is that like my symptoms had gone away for the most, really gone away for the first month that I was on the medical keto diet. And after I started binging on the sugar and carbs, within a couple days, my symptoms had come back. And so I knew it was the diet that was helping me. But after that, I was kind of on and off the diet. I was on it enough to lose a significant amount of weight, but I wasn't on it long enough to see mental health benefits again. I would like be on it for maybe a week and then I'd fall off for a few days, be on it for another week, fall off for another week. So it was just back and forth. But I can't remember what month it was that year, but somehow I stumbled across carnivore. I think it's normal, like if you're going down the ketogenic diet rabbit hole, you're gonna stumble across carnivore. And so somehow I heard about it. I know I watched Carrie from Homestead House 30-day video at some point. I don't remember when he posted it, but he was one of the people I found. Um, sorry. So I decided the first week of January of 2024 to try carnivore. I did it horribly. I did not have nearly enough fat. Oh my gosh, I just didn't do it well. And so by the end of the first week of January, I had developed meat aversion and I decided that I just couldn't do carnivore. I swore it off. I was like, I don't like meat that much. I'm never doing that again. And I attempted to go back to medical keto. Um, and then, well, I tried to, and then January 15th of that year, 2024, my dad ended up dying. I wasn't close with him, but it still impacted me. It still broke my heart. So
Of course.
after he died, yeah, after he died, I ended up taking a break from medical keto for about a month or two until, I mourned. And then
Now, sorry to
I
interrupt.
don't,
See, just
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
What exactly is medical keto?
It is, so it's I don't know if you've ever heard of the type of ketogenic diet that's used to treat epilepsy. That
I've
it's
heard
been
of it.
used to.
I've heard of it being helpful for epilepsy.
Hmm.
I've also
And
heard
that's
it for autism too. Um,
yep.
I saw the
And so it's
documentary
like,
on that.
uh
So
huh.
okay,
I
so
talk. I
I didn't realize it was
say,
a different form. I just figured keto is what did it. I didn't
well,
realize.
I call it medical keto just because the fad diet keto. When people hear you say the keto diet, they think like just weight loss. But when I say medical keto, it kind of tips them off that it's not just about weight loss. I
Oh,
think
okay.
that's the hope,
That's pretty clever.
anyways.
I just didn't know.
Mm. And
Um,
plus, medical keto is a lot higher fat, I think, and it's used as a treatment. It's not
yeah.
like necessarily for weight loss,
Right.
even though
And
it
I'm
does
guessing
cause
it's
weight
not the junk that the companies are putting out there saying keto
loss.
bars and stuff like that.
No, 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 no.
Whole
It's
foods,
yep,
natural, maybe
yep.
avocado, stuff like that.
Mhm,
Which I did that for a while. I used to love avocado on my hamburgers. It used to be
mhm.
so delicious, but then
Yeah.
obviously before you don't really do that anymore. But
Now you just put bacon on your
yeah,
burger,
yeah.
bacon
And
and
for my
chicken.
diabetes, the carnivore works best, but eventually I'll go back to the keto. Probably,
Okay.
eventually, someday,
All right.
far, far away in another world. All right,
Yeah. Is
sorry
there
about
is
that.
there a re is there a reason why you want to go back to keto?
Well, it's not that I want to. I'm just saying I might.
Okay.
It's like I don't believe in the concept of anything being forever. I don't believe in always. I don't believe in the word always. I don't believe in the word never.
Mhm.
Like I hate when people say you never do this or you always do that. Well, no, that's not true. So I don't like to say that I will always be carnivore. I will
Mhm.
always be mostly carnivore, but I probably will start incorporating pickles or something like that. My mom used to make a really good, and I know the recipe by heart. A really good cucumber salad with sour cream.
Yum.
So I kind of miss that, you know. So I probably will bring that back in, and hence since cucumbers and pickles are the same family, considering a pickle is a cucumber. I'm not really going off the rails by having either one of them. And another one I'd like to do is jalapeno. You know,
Ooh. Yum.
because what I like to do is I like making myself, with like some cheese, like melted cheese, and I take the pork rind and I actually melt the cheese on the pork rind with some hamburger meat, some like ground beef,
Oh,
and make nachos out of the pork rind and then
yum.
and then add some sour cream to it, and then I thought it'd be really cool to add jalapeno peppers to that
That
meat.
sounds good.
So
Yeah.
just simple things
Yum.
like that,
Mhm.
but just here and there, nothing, nothing horrible, But right
Mhm.
now, it is lowering my A1C, and in about a little over a week, I'll actually have my A1C results, so we'll be able to know.
Really?
Yeah, I'll have my new results, and we'll see what my new number is. Right now, it's 7.6, but we'll see what the new baseline is, and we'll go from
Mhm.
there. So
Okay.
yeah,
All
so that's
right.
pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, God, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I did not realize that much about you, and it's you're amazing. You really are. Um,
Thanks.
you know, I,
But
I I think people
that's not the end though. I still have more to
it's
share, but
not no, I get that, but so I mean, oh my God, it's almost like I guess like with me, like when I tell about my toes, having to get them amputated and everything like that, and then all of a sudden I tell about my back, the infection, I couldn't walk, I couldn't like get out of bed for like 3 months. I think it's like, whoa, there's more, and I mean, unfortunately, this the sad diet does a lot of destroying, and and if you keep on going, like I'm a lot older than you are, so I mean, I probably destroyed a lot more of my body than I mean, like I've done 40 years worth, where you've probably only done like 20 years worth, so
28.
doing
I'm
28, but I'm
28.
sure you weren't stuffing yourself with ding dongs and cupcakes at the age of 1.
I mean, I
Well,
can't remember,
I can't speak for your mom or dad, but I'm sure you personally weren't. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Maybe you're one of those kids that snuck out of the
but
crib and grab that ding dong or whatever. And all right, Aaron. Sorry about that. Let Lexi tell her story. I apologize.
all right. So after this, it's mostly good news. So found ketogenic therapy. Started it September 1st of 2023. Couldn't stick to it, but finally in July of 2024, I buckled down. I know you're not supposed to like do willpower, but like I was like, I have to do this. I'm starting school again this fall. I don't want to have mental health symptoms while I'm in school, and plus I want to have like be able to focus better and read my textbooks effectively, which medical keto was helping with. Uh, so, or like it had. Wait, I think I'm getting my dates confused. So, actually, medical keto, when I was finally able to stick to it consistently for several months, it helped very much. Like, it helped my psychotic symptoms for sure. And like it helped a little bit with school in the fall. It wasn't until the next semester, this last spring, where it really helped. I will say though that the benefits I got from medical keto took a long time. Where and like another benefit I got from medical keto was a little bit more increased confidence and like my social skills got better. But that, like I said, that took like 6 months for that to happen. That and then in March of this year, I kind of fell off the diet. I was having really bad sugar cravings. And then about a month before I was finally able to stick to carnivore, I started trying to do the carnivore diet about like a month and a half ago. Oh, actually, a couple months ago now. So I tried it again a couple months ago. It took, oh, where'd you go? I can't hear you.
Sorry about that. I'm still here. I just put you in the spotlight. That's all.
Oh
Just
no. Okay. Now I can only see myself.
yes, that was intentional.
Oh no. So where was I? So I kind of fell off medical keto from like March of this year up until June 10th of this year when I was finally able to stick to carnivore. I started it for the last time, and by day 3, because like over the months between medical keto and carnivore, my psychotic symptoms started to come back, and I was just kind of spiraling that whole time, just getting worse and worse. And I lost all of my confidence. My social skills started to go away again, and so yeah, I don't know. And so I started the carnivore diet, finally was able to stick to it, and by day 3, my psychotic symptoms had reduced by like 60, 70%, which was so shocking to me. I was like, not like, and I had so much more confidence, like almost immediately. Day 3, I was like super chatty and like just so excited to be in the world. And like my thoughts were so much better, my intrusive thoughts were so much better. And since then, so I joined the Healing Humanity group, Carrie Mann's um, carnivore group, a week before I finally was able to stick to carnivore. And I joined that group, and then I finally was able to stick to keto, or not keto, stick to carnivore the next week. Um, and after another week of being on carnivore, so starting June 10th, which was a Tuesday, and then following into the next week, I made my first YouTube video. I hope I'm making sense. I know I'm kind of
No,
like jumping, but yeah. So started carnivore June 10th, and by the next week, I made my first YouTube video, and I just, and then I started going on your live. I went on Carnivore Talk live, like so much confidence. Like I got a little bit of confidence on medical keto, but like carnivore has just been life changing. And like it's it's been 3 weeks that I've been on carnivore now, and it's just gotten better, like so much better over time. Where like now I'd say my psychotic thoughts and symptoms are decreased probably by like 80%. And I eat very high fat. It's not like I'm doing high protein, moderate fat, or anything like that. Like I eat about 85% of my calories from fat, sometimes 90%. Trying to lower it now, but yeah, so I think that's why I'm getting mental health benefits. um, yeah. And then also, what else? So, and then the next week, the second week, so I started carnivore the first week. Second week, I made my first YouTube video, went on a few lives. And then the third week, last week, I posted another YouTube video, went on even more lives. Like, my life is just changing. Like, it's so crazy.
yeah.
And like, I've talked about this with you before, I think, and on the Healing Humanity group, but like the best thing that's happened is my ability to socialize. Because when I'm psychotic, I get so awkward, and like it's so hard for me to have conversations with people, and like it's not awkward in like a cute way. It's awkward in like making people
A
uncomfortable
very,
way.
very uncomfortable way. Yes,
Yeah, which is
I
not fun for either
I
people.
definitely
Like,
relate. I definitely relate. As you know, I have
yes.
the same issue in that particular respect. You know.
It's horrible, and it
Yeah.
just makes you want to isolate more.
Yeah.
And so that's what I would do. And now it's like I'm a part of this community. I'm a part of Healing Humanities, always talking to people. I also live in a group home, so I get to talk to the staff all the time too. But yeah, it's just, and now I'm being interviewed by you. I'm gonna be interviewed by Carrie and Dave Mack. Like all this is happening so fast.
Were there dates set for Carrie and Dave Mack or no?
Yep. They're
Oh,
later this month and next month,
okay.
but
Yeah. I mean,
you're,
I mean, you want to
you're
split
the
them up.
first one.
You want. I mean, a lot of
Huh?
my interviews that I had were like, like I had like one of them actually. I had like three of them like within 2 days.
Ooh,
You
oh my
know,
gosh, I couldn't.
it was just like it just felt like very close together, but they record them so they don't get put out together. So it's like sort of
Mm,
just get it over with and that's it. And hope and pray
yeah.
that no one notices you're wearing the same clothes. Especially on the
Yeah.
video. So
But yeah, that's my story.
and you're gonna stick to it, right?
Yeah. So
No, I
sorry,
was
I'm sticking to it.
I have to admit, I was pretty amazed when I saw you with Bob the first time, Carnivore Talk, because I was like, like that's so cool that she's coming on and everything.
Hmm.
And because they're all different people. They weren't the people you knew from Healing Humanity. All of
Hmm.
them were just random people. Like we have on here, we have Charge Mopar Rick is on here, just talking mostly about ducks and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
you met him that day, so
Hmm.
he's a guy all laid back with Milton the cat and everything, and just I mean, you have a pretty amazing story. You really do, and I'm so
Well,
glad
thanks.
that I brought you. That I actually, technically, you actually, if I remember correctly, I was just asking if anybody wanted to do, and just giving a suggestion. You're the one who came up, like pretty much texted me in private and said I'd like to do it, and and we went back and forth for a little bit, and finally, we went to today. You know,
Mhm.
and it's uh, it's like bringing your courage in and everything, and I definitely know how that is. Like I go back and forth all the time, even today I go back and forth, like, can I do this? Should I do this? Like even today I was doing the coaching course for Dr. Kiltz, and I'm thinking to myself the whole time, I'm thinking to myself, like, no one's going to want to listen to me. Why should I do this? No one's, like, I always feel that people, like, always want to give me the advice, and that I don't really know anything. And I do know much more than people give me credit for.
Yeah.
But this isn't really about, this is learning how to be able to express things. So I might know things, but I might not exactly know how to express them and how to teach them. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
learning.
And this is my first time telling my story, so I hope I did a good job.
You did an excellent job. Um, I always say it's better to just go by the wayside. Um, it's never always going to be the same each time, and that might be a good thing, because if it's the same, then after a while people hear it and it's like, oh, I heard that already. But if you change it up a little bit, change the order or something like that, just whatever, just that little tweak, because technically each time you don't remember exactly how you did the last time. You just know the bullet points,
Mhm.
and that's it. So it might be good that you actually didn't rehearse it, that you didn't, that you actually didn't write it down, that you actually went by the top of your head and went through the heart,
Mhm.
because each time is going to be different. 'Cause you will, and not bad different, just different,
Just different.
yeah,
Mhm.
just different. Like you might, like for example, I said about my feet. Well, and then I said about my back. Well, next time I might mention my back before my feet, or there might be stuff that you might have thought that you never thought, like I mentioned about my roommate, my alcoholic roommate, and how the problem she gave. Well, now I really try not to talk about that too much, because it's like she was a big part of my headaches, but she wasn't very big on why I would go carnivore,
Yeah.
and
Well,
or
one
maybe she is in a way, but
so I have good news. I totally forgot to share this in my story, but um a couple days ago. So I've been terrified of parking lots and going to stores for like years now. Terrified of parking lots. A couple days ago, me and my caregiver went grocery shopping. I was I was standing in the parking lot. She was like on the other side of the car doing whatever. I was waiting for her, and I realized I wasn't looking around at all the cars. I wasn't terrified that someone was gonna jump out and grab me. I just was standing there, just calm, like just waiting. It was like such a relief, and I didn't even notice it until like my caregiver like walked over to me. I just realized like, oh wow, I'm not scared right now. Like, and then even crazier, like after we finished grocery shopping, I was waiting in the car for her, and she was bringing the cart back inside, and I didn't lock the car doors. Like, that was so crazy to me because every single time I'm in the car by myself, I immediately lock the doors. Even when I'm with my sister and she's just going to the gas station really quick, I lock the doors just because I'm so scared someone's gonna jump into the car and drive away. But I was just sitting there and I didn't lock the car doors. Like, oh my gosh, I'm just so happy about that.
that is wonderful.
Mhm.
You know,
Progress.
it's I think it's beyond progress. I think it's just amazing.
Mhm.
So I mean,
I'm
so many
excited.
people.
Yeah.
Sandy just said, "Lexi, great job. Thanks so much for your sharing your story. You are such a doll." Um,
Yeah.
and Sandy's great. She really is. They all are. I love all my
Mhm.
riblets, and
I
I'm
don't
glad
know if my mom.
I'm glad you're a riblet. So,
Yeah. My mom might be here. I'm not sure. I invited her. Mom, if you're here,
if she
please
didn't put it
comment.
in the chats, we will never know. So it's possible she could be here, but she would have to say hello right in the
I
chat
know.
for us to know. Um,
Yep.
you know, Lisa, Lex. Oh, she just skipped. I guess they didn't want me saying what Lexi said, what Lisa said. Lisa pretty much said that you're wonderful too. Lexi,
Oh,
you are so brave. Thank you for sharing your story. Um, and in Keto Simple, Dustin, he actually, I have it right in here. Be sure to head over to subscribe to her channel. So yes, subscribe to the channel, and after I'm all done here, I will put her link to her channel in the in my whatever you call that description, I guess.
description. You
And
can you can also add my email and my Instagram account too. My Instagram is the same username as my YouTube channel.
okay, yeah, I should be able to do that. Yeah, Instagram. I don't know if I have you on Instagram or not.
Yeah, you do. I
I do. Okay.
I found you. I
You.
promise I wasn't stalking you.
Oh,
You just showed
that's
up.
right. So I had to like. I'll copy that link too. I'm sorry about that, Lexi. um, and then Aaron says awesome accomplishments. So you got a fan in Aaron, so that's pretty cool. Um, yeah. And she's asking what your channel is. Um,
Lexus Jones 1126.
so just remember Lexus Jones and then the 1126. So this is really great. I mean, is there anything else? Is there anything else you'd like to talk about or anything like that? Or
Um,
and then
I
no,
think
I'm not
I.
pressuring you. I'm just asking the question because we could do one of two things. Well, I'd like to start off because like I said, we do the 52 hours and it's not even an hour yet.
Mhm.
So I can either put in the chats if anybody wants to come in and chat, and we could just do a chit chat,
Sure.
or I'm not sure if anybody would have any, but if anybody has any questions for Lexi here, um,
Either one.
you know, and right now it could just be us talking basically and going from there.
Okay.
So I'm going to allow you to do the questions first, and then actually, what the hey, or like Cindy says, what the hail, or hail, or whatever.
What the heck?
What the heck? Well, she has a show that's called like HAIL, hail. Like
Mhm.
what the hell? like 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 this like a Southern Belle, like what the hell?
Mhm.
So let me see. Let me actually before because I might have something on my save thing that's not the link. It might be something else. So I might be sharing something that I shouldn't be sharing, like somebody's account number or something.
Mhm.
Okay, so I just put it into the link. Now, guess what I found out? Which I don't know, those. I didn't. I always thought you had to have at least 5,000 subscribers in order to have this. Okay, I was looking at the YouTube version of this. You might have even heard like the sound, like the double sound before. Like I turned it off really quickly, but I just didn't know if you heard it. I have the crowns. So
Yay!
so I'm just gonna go. I can't see you when I go in here because I go into a different tab. But let's just check this out, people, and then Dustin, I will put your question out there as long as it's still there.
I
So
think Carrie has a question
I
too.
am. I'm just out of curiosity. I just want to see if you go to YouTube. The chats are just thinking. It says Keto Simple is number one right now. So okay, so right now it's Keto Simple, Dustin. Number two, Terry, 19330. Don Schroeder is number three. And then Happy Joe, Charger Mopar, and Booby Goats 4, 5, and 6. So I do apologize. There is nothing to win. Um, but now I'm a little confused because I thought it was anybody. Oh, I thought you had to have at least 5,000 people in order to be in because I noticed other people that had less than 5,000 viewers did not have the crown, and so I thought that that was the.
What do you mean the crown? What does the crown mean?
It's like top valued, like most supportive member.
Cool.
So I think they go by your chats and stuff like that. So I guess Dustin is doing the most chats. So speaking of Dustin, we will show off. Okay, so this is the question he has. What do you want to accomplish with your channel? So what do
Oh my
you want
gosh.
to accomplish with your channel? That's a good.
So, so I'll start with this. So, for the last couple years, since starting medical keto for the first time, I have wanted to become a registered dietitian that specializes in ketogenic therapies. It helps people treat their severe mental illness with lifestyle and ketogenic like diets. And that's been a couple years now, but now that I have this YouTube channel, I'm realizing I can help people now because becoming a registered dietitian for me is probably going to take another 10 years, honestly, because I have to get my general education requirements done, have to get a bachelor's degree, then a master's, and then an internship, and I have to take an exam. So, and I'd probably be doing most of it part time. So I'm still going to do it, but I never thought that I could help people now just by posting YouTube videos. And so that's my goal. Like my obviously I want everybody to watch, but I really would like to reach people who have severe mental illness, especially schizophrenia, and just show them that there's hope, just I want to reach the person who's in that same desperate situation I was in April of 2023 when I was doing all that research about how to treat schizophrenia without a bunch of medication side effects. So that's what I'd like to do. And I noticed another big reason why I started my YouTube channel was because there's plenty of stories out there with or for like medical keto treating schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, but there's not a lot for carnivore treating it. Like there's Valerie, and I love her story. I've seen so many of her interviews, but like other than that, I really wasn't able to find many people. And so that's why I made my part of why I made my YouTube channel. I was also just wanting to share my story too. But yeah, I just want to reach those people, so hopefully that made sense.
No, it does. So next question. From Carnivore Lake Life, JC. How you doing, JC? She's from Healing Humanity, so I'm sure you've seen her before.
hmm
Is there anything you wish people better understood about schizophrenia?
That it doesn't look the same for everybody. I mean, there are people who are schizophrenic who are homeless and who you can't like my dad he wasn't homeless, but he had schizophrenia and he was so mentally unwell that you couldn't have a conversation with him. Like his thoughts were so disorganized, his speech was so disorganized that you just couldn't understand him. And I want to say that there are people like that, but there's also people like me who I wouldn't say I'm high functioning, but like, I mean, before I started medical keto, before carnivore, um, I could still hold conversations with people. Except for the awkwardness, I felt like I masked my symptoms pretty well. And there are people who have schizophrenia who are like that are out there. And there's even like I wish people knew that there's even like famous people or like super like highly educated people who have schizophrenia. I feel like we don't really see that very often, and that's something I wish I could have seen years ago when I was first diagnosed. You know,
I mean, didn't I mean I'm probably wrong about this, but didn't Robin Williams have some form of like
he had
um
bipolar disorder,
his bipolar? Okay,
hmm
I wasn't
and
really
there's
sure,
plenty.
but I know he was still, he had think
hmm
well issues that caused him to commit, to die to
hmm
his life. Um, so I'm gonna go back through the chats here and just see if there's anything that I missed. Which what a shocker if I do. I'm telling you, it's oh, okay. Here's one. It was kind of sorry about that, Terry, but it was kind of snuck in there. It's the QQQ is so close that I just thought it was one. I didn't realize it was two words. So Lexus, what are some things friends and family did while you were suffering so much that helped? What didn't help? Like, so what helped you with what they did for you, and what really didn't help you?
I think just my sister offering me a place to live during my psychotic episode. I had been in a pretty serious abusive relationship for about 4.5 years, including like most of the time that I was psychotic in 2017. And so when I left him, she gave me a place to stay. And so I'm really grateful for that. Otherwise, I would have just been another homeless person with schizophrenia, and I would have been in a much worse position. So I'm grateful for her. My family was there for me. Like my aunt like visited me in the hospital. She gave me clothes because like I really didn't have much. She gave me clothes. She gave me money. And then my mom came into my life again. Sorry, mom. I hope you're okay with me talking about this, but we
I'm sure she sort of
mended.
expected it, right? Yeah.
Maybe. We mended our relationship in like 2020, and it's just been beautiful ever since then. Like, she's my best friend, and she's offered me support. Like, I can call her really anytime. I mean, she has a job, but like, I know she'll call me back, and she's just so supportive. And we pray together, and we're both very much Christian, and we just talk about God all the time, and she's so uplifting. My sister, I know I can call any day, anytime. She's my best friend too. Um, I hope I'm answering the question. Just
Yeah,
support. Like that's
you're doing fine. I mean, that's so did anybody do anything that you were like, "Oh God, please don't do this. This is making it harder for me," or like even like
uh
just something simple, like kept on like you're on the carnivore diet and they keep on offering you kumquats or something, you know?
no, actually, everybody in my life has been, well, everybody's been supportive. My sister wasn't as supportive in the beginning. She thought I was just like starving myself and that I was only doing this diet to lose weight and that I wasn't actually doing it for my mental health. And it was like that until she finally tried it earlier this year. And now her bipolar, probably shouldn't have shared that, but her mental illness is in
I
remission.
don't know
So
her, so, you know. Yeah.
I feel bad. I'm like sharing all this information
Didn't
about my
you say she was
family,
your
and
twin
they.
though? I just can't.
What'd you say?
Didn't you say she's your twin though? So
Yeah.
I guess we would know what she looks like. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. She has straight hair though.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah,
Well,
but
that's pretty cool.
basically
Yeah,
that.
I'm sure she'll forgive you.
I
Um,
think okay, so something that I don't like is when people call me crazy. For some reason, that word is such a trigger for me. So, like when I get into an argument with somebody and they call me crazy, I'm instantly just like
Now,
so
is it
mad.
the word in general,
Yeah, being
or
called being
when you're
called that.
called crazy? Like,
Mhm.
and I'm just doing this in content, so
Yeah.
I'm not trying. So if I said to you like Lexi, you're crazy, that would trigger you. But if I said to
Mhm.
you that what you're saying is crazy, would that trigger you?
I don't know. I mean, it's more just someone attacking me with it, you
Right.
know? It's not really like, "Oh, you're crazy"
See
kind
that
of thing, like
Yeah, I
yeah.
could see that being. I mean, I think that'd be problematic with anybody. I don't think it's any.
Mhm.
You know, I think if any, like, you know, like if somebody goes to you and says you're stupid or that's stupid, I think that you still kind of get that trigger. You know,
Mhm.
so you know, I mean, Sandy's here saying that mental illness runs in her family. I'll tell you a little story. It definitely runs in my family. I actually have a situation which will blow your head, and some people might argue it. You know, that's in my family, but this is what I was told in my family because I was not there. But supposedly, my aunt used to hit my uncle. Now, my uncle's a huge guy. My uncle was like sort of like as tall as Rick, but he was about 300 pounds, so he was big and tall, a big bull, you know. And she used to hit him with a cast iron skillet. You
Wow.
know, and she was a really small lady. She was like really tiny. You know, like 4'10". You know, like 90. You know, she was really tiny. So and that was during a time where you did not like you definitely never attacked your wife, but you just took it. You weren't a man if you actually like complained to the police or anything like that. You just took the abuse, and she did. She kept on doing it. She kept on doing it, and finally one day he shot her and killed her.
Sorry. Mm.
So there's a lot of men. Like my grandmother, she had a lot of in and out of hospitals. She had Alzheimer's and everything. So there's just a lot of mental illness in my family. So I do know, you know, and like you don't really think about it, but there is. It's in there. And
Mhm.
like I was actually very lucky. Like in the male side, there's always a lot of alcoholics. A lot of people end up drinking, and I never went to drinking. So I always pat myself on the back because I never went that route, even with everything that happened to me. You know,
Mhm.
and but we God. I think that whether it's God or whether it's just some higher being or something like that, I think that something is like, whoa, this is like it opens up the window, it opens up the curtain, or even like has that light under the door, and we're like, oh, what's on the other side of that light, and we open it,
Mhm.
and I
Yep.
think that that's sort of what happens, you know, and now my family's pretty good, and everything, and I love all my family members, but my father, Aaron will actually relate to this a little bit. My father's one of 9 children. So
Oh.
that is a huge family. So there was bound to be some, and they lived in Virginia and all that stuff. So it was like coal. It wasn't Virginia of the Virginia Beach. It was Virginia of the coal mining country. So we had, and I remember it a little bit. I remember at the age of like 6, waiting like for almost 2 hours in the car, waiting for the coal train to go past because it was like that. It took that long for the train to pass by. So you'd
Wow.
be waiting in the car, and we didn't have DVDs back then. We didn't have, like our enjoyment was a coloring book. That was all that we had, you know, and it's like good memories.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh no, it's all good. I mean that probably was a fond memory. And I remember whenever I used to go on long drives. Later on, I found this out. My mom used to give me um, motion sickness pills, and she'd be like, she'd give me these red pills, and she'd be like, "These are for motion sickness. Just take one, swallow it. Here's some milk, swallow it. Pop them in your mouth, swallow it, and you should be fine." So I would do that. And one day I looked at it. I said, "Oh, so what does M mean? Like, what's the M stand for?" And she goes, "Don't worry about it. Just do not chew. Just swallow. Just swallow it." Found out later on they were M&Ms. It was all she took the red
Wow.
M&Ms, and she would and that's what she'd give me for my car sickness. Because I used to get really bad.
How
I would like get, like
so
throw up and everything. I was really bad for a long time, and
and so that helped?
that helped. Yeah, because I didn't know. I thought it was real medication.
Wow.
It was psychosomatic,
Yep.
and I thought it was real
Mhm.
medication. And like I didn't find out until like I was like in my teens, you know, and believe it or not, yeah, sometimes things like that, because our heads just go all over the place. And
I have
sometimes
to take
just that simple comfort, like, oh, okay, this will help me. Okay, I'll take it. And so that's
I
probably that's
re-
probably one of the only times that candy actually helped me.
I have to take my meds really quick. Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
All right, one second. I'm gonna turn off my camera.
Okay,
Hold on.
all right. So while she's not here, we'll talk about her. Um, so, so how's everybody in the chat? This is proven to be pretty good. I'm hoping everybody likes it. If you don't, I don't care because that would be really idiotic if you don't like this. Like Lexi is one of the best. So, so Sandy is saying, "Hugs, Lisa. I so enjoy seeing you with Thomas." Well, I don't see Lisa, so I don't see Lisa with me, Sandy, unless she's meeting Lexi.
Okay.
um,
I'm
Don,
back.
oh my God, it's like a magic. So, are you take do you take a lot less meds now that you're on carnivore? Or do you still take the same amount, or
Still take the same amount. I talked to my psychiatrist maybe last week, and we talked about how in a couple months we'll start discussing tapering some of my meds.
that's good.
Hmm.
Yeah, she probably just wants to make sure. I
Yes.
mean, technically, you've only been carnivore for what, like 3 weeks now,
Hmm.
technically. So
Yeah.
I could kind of see that, but
Yeah. Not
a
enough
lot of my
time.
meds, unfortunately, I took off, but it wasn't the doctor who took me off them.
Oh no.
I sort of like had no choice. It's like you just kind of do trial and error. But I would not recommend that for you. I mean,
Yeah.
if I was on that kind of medication, I probably would want to wait until I got the approval.
Yep.
Unfortunately, like even with my diabetes, like weaning off the insulin, I'm not off it yet, but weaning it down, I still have, and you kind of adjust and everything like that. It was because the doctor didn't want to talk to me about it. He was like, "Oh, we'll wait until you get your next one you want to see." And I don't know. Do you know the story of what happened to me or no? Okay, so I'll get the bridged version. It's when I had my Oreo cookie, and I had to do it twice actually. Because sometimes you do the emergency. So I was taking the insulin that they recommended. You know, which at that time was 1.2 um, units of Victoza and 14 units of short acting, and my sugars were about 156. Now I don't remember the exact number. It was 150 something, but it was basically 156, I think. And I took the medication. I did not eat anything on that first one, and I went downstairs, and I was going to eat, but I always at that time I always like would go get a cup of coffee first. So I went downstairs, and I think I was listening to Mitch at the time. I think I like either Mitch or Kilts. No, not Kilts because Kilts isn't open yet. So Mitch, either Mitch or Aaron, and um, yeah, I went downstairs and I got myself a cup of coffee. And I took the steps. I didn't go take the elevator. I took the steps, and within like a half an hour, my sugars go from 150 something to 53. They drop super low, and I start getting shaky. I start like I felt like I was going to pass out every second.
Oh.
So I went into the candy store and I asked the owner. I told him what's happening, and he gave me an Oreo cookie. He offered to give me more, but I said no. Let's just do the one. I don't want to get tempted to do any more than that. And that's basically what and when I went to Dr. Phil, which is on SVG, he's one of the he's a doctor there. He's retired, but he still like he gives advice. I mean, he doesn't get he's not your doctor, he's not my doctor, but he will give his opinion or his advice. And he thought that I might be becoming more insulin sensitive.
Mm.
And it happened again, so I called the doctor. He suggested going to the doctor, making an appointment, getting checked, making sure, talking with him. And he did, he called me one time, and then I wasn't there, and then I called him several times after that. And he never called me back. So I
Mm.
finally was like, you know what, I got to put this in my own hands. And so I wheedled down. So now my short acting is down to 7 from 14. My long acting is down to 20 from 40, and my Victoza is down to 0.6.
Nice.
Now I did have to adjust again. Like I had it down to like I wouldn't take any medication if it was under 150. I kind of had to adjust that a little bit to 130. Like I had to go back to 130 for that, but I still take the low amount. So it's just getting better and better every time for me. In that particular respect, and
That's awesome.
you know Yeah, I mean, it's amazing, isn't it, when like these good things happen and everything, and and Danny in Boston in Boss just entered the chats. So hello, Danny.
Hi, Dean.
I'm going to put inside the chats one more time. Don't know if anybody didn't notice it before, but I put it in once before. So I'm going to put it in again. If anybody wants to come on and say hi to Lexi, she does not bite, so don't worry about that. So, well, that is true. Like Danny says that you look beautiful, Lexi.
Oh, thank you. I'm just reading this
See that,
chat.
Danny? I'm putting you on the spot there. And Sandy was actually saying, I think Sandy thinks your name is Lisa.
Oh no.
Yeah. Unless she's talking to Lisa, I don't know. Oh, maybe. Oh, yeah, she might be talking to Lisa. As Lisa says this. Let me go back to that. Oh, the thing goes so fast. It's like you think you're checking off somebody else, and it goes right to some. Oh no, it was Meathead that was talking. Lisa, I will attest to the fact that people will embellish. They're not afraid they won't be in the crowd. So I'm not sure. I can see that. Lisa, I get that actually with diabetes. I mean, people don't realize that it's a slow process, and not everybody is going to do the same thing at the same time. But I always get very, very envious of those people that say like, oh, and like what in less than like 2 weeks they brought their sugars from 13.5 to 5.3, and it's like, well, that's not me, and I'm still on my journey, and it's still 6 months, and
I
I'm
used,
still going in a better direction, but it's
I
it's
used,
disconcerting. Sorry.
sorry, I keep interrupting you.
No.
I used to feel the same way when I was doing medical keto because like if I had one wrong ingredient, like sucralose, for example, I'm very sensitive to. On medical keto, even after months of being on it, if I had sucralose or cellulose gum or something, I'd be set back for like a week. Like my psychotic symptoms would come back for like a week. They'd finally go away, but like I was so jealous of the people who like could have something off plan or have an ingredient and like maybe have symptoms for like a day or two and then they'd be fine. Like I said, for me it'd take a week. On carnivore though, I've noticed, yeah, it's like 24 hours and I'm fine. And it's only happened one time where I ate something I probably shouldn't have, and that was Sunday morning when I went to breakfast with my mom and I had this salad that I forgot to ask what dressing was going to be on it until I'd already ordered, and it ended up being a mustard vinaigrette. And I think there was sugar in it. But yeah, the next morning I was so sore all over my body. But after, like as the day went on, I felt fine. Like, and I didn't have any psychotic symptoms really. So I think carnivore has just been a game changer for me. Hi, Lewis.
Yeah. Yeah. So everybody's going to say hi to Lewis for a while because that's what we do. We pop on and then everybody says hello to us, and then
Mhm.
that's why it's called a community, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, I used to get very disillusioned, when people would say that. Finally I was just like, okay, not everybody does it that quickly. So,
Mhm.
um, so I I myself had three meals, but very close together. I had my first meal. I had four burger patties with bison tallow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I went downstairs and I had some roast beef, just the roast beef. Didn't have anything else with it. Oh, I had some. I did cheat. I'm going to do a little disclaimer here. I do apologize, everybody, but there's a reason why I kind of fell off the track a little bit. Sorry. All right. I had 2 hours of sleep, and I worked late last night, and it got to a point where I couldn't. I tried my best to keep up, and I just was really really tired, and I didn't have it at work, but I did end up having to leave early. That I was that tired. I was literally like falling asleep at work. So I was sent home because of it, you know, and which is a little embarrassing. But I just was really really tired, and I have to go back again tonight. So I'll probably try to take a little nap before I go. But you know, but yes, Sandy, I had a cup of coffee, you know, and so I went down, and I was thinking like, okay, I'm still going to do lion. I'm still doing these strict. I'll just have like I'm going to limit myself to no more than 2 cups a day. Before I was drinking about five, so even that's a lot lower. And eventually, maybe I'll wean off the coffee too. It's just right now, I think just doing lion and doing that for the month, and maybe in August I'll change it up. So,
Hmm.
um,
Why are you trying to take out coffee?
I guess I want to take out everything just to see, because lion really is with no coffee. Well, technically,
Mm-hmm.
lion's no coffee. So I guess instead of being bee lion with butter and coffee, butter and lion, I'm sea lion. It's coffee. So and that is true. Being tired can mess with your hunger cues. But yeah,
Oh yeah.
basically, I had the roast beef, and then after that, using my bison tallow, I actually made one of my steaks and had that. So that was my three meals for the whole day, and that was between 9 o'clock in the morning to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So that was my time frame.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've had what did I eat today? I didn't eat breakfast. I had some instant coffee. I know you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to have coffee as a dessert, like steak and butter, Yang says, but had some coffee, didn't eat breakfast, and then for lunch I had I think 1.5 beer brats and 2 tablespoons of butter, and I haven't eaten since. So I'm gonna have dinner after this.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, since I'm working tonight. I'm not working the full 8 hours though, and my boss, because of what happened, he's going to change some things around because he's the new boss now. So he sees that I just can't work an overnight shift. It's just just I don't. I used to be able to, but what I think is not realized here is it's only 2 nights a week. So by the time when I
Mm.
do the one night, I am pretty much it's like changing my whole body, so my whole, it doesn't, it's not like I can go in and then okay, I can go right back to the old, I can't, my body just can't adjust to that. So it takes a couple days to adjust. So
Yep.
hello Mark, how you doing? And hello Andrea, and if I didn't say it already, hello Meathead. And actually Meathead's gonna, oh no, not, I'm sorry, Meathead's I'm thinking of somebody else. I'm sorry, Meathead. But um I'm gonna, one of the two people I'm going to get is a guy named Gary No Slow. So um, he's pretty cool.
Hmm.
And um, yeah, I mean, yeah, and maybe it's best not to be super strict at first. Maybe leave the coffee in to kind of give myself a little. I mean, my biggest addiction is really cheese. you know. But
Mm-hmm.
um, so that's even harder to give up. But you know,
I just
I think I can do it. You know.
Yeah, I just recently I'm trying to cut out dairy for the most part. I stopped doing heavy cream. I'm trying not to do cheese, really. The only time I have cheese is in like an omelet, which I'm having tonight, or like my provolone and ham roll-ups. Otherwise, and I guess butter too. So maybe I'm not giving up dairy, but heavy cream at least I'm not having.
Yeah, I mean, if I do go back into dairy, I probably will bring it back to butter.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause, you know, like I had some issues that I mentioned a few weeks ago with using the bathroom a lot, and that was, you know, they suggested it might be lactose intolerance, and
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Phil again, he suggested getting rid of like all dairy, including the butter. And I sort of brought the butter in a little bit, but Lion Diet doesn't do the butter, so
Mm. What does Lion Diet do?
well, it's just pretty much very it's like very like, think of it like very strict carnivore, and it's pretty much just ruminant meat and salt and water is basically what Lion Diet is.
What
Um,
about the fat?
well, fat too, yeah. Well, the fat from ruminant meat, you would do like beef tallow
Mm.
instead of butter. And I see that's the part I don't really understand with butter because I guess because butter being a dairy and having carbs in it, I guess that's
Mm.
why they don't do the butter really. But I mean, technically, I would think butter comes from a cow, so you would think that that would be ruminant, you know. But I guess because of the fact it has little carbs in it, they sort of go against that a little bit.
Right.
So you know, so Andrea's asking if you're in the Kiltmati tribe.
Yeah, I'm usually not a part of the live though. It's a little too early for me.
So okay, I think she's talking about the actual like in the membership.
Yep, I'm in the
Oh,
membership.
you're
I
in the
just don't
membership.
really.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
the free one.
Okay, cool. That's cool.
Hmm. Yeah, I typically. I'm never a part of the lives. I really don't check the app at all either. So I'm mainly in like the healing humanity group type of stuff.
Have you ever done the 5:30 p.m. Zoom calls?
For Kilt's group?
Yeah,
No, actually, I haven't. I
you should.
think
You should.
I usually miss it. Like I keep more on, like I said, I keep more on top of the Zoom calls with uh
With Karen and
healing
her.
human. Yeah. And
Yeah,
like I guess I didn't know that the kilts went live at 5 p.m. Now that I know, I'll try to like
yeah.
join them now,
It's
but
5:30 p.m. every Monday.
okay. Oh, is that Eastern or Central
Eastern.
time?
Yes, it's Eastern. So for
So,
you, it'd be 4:30.
okay. Yeah, I'll have to watch.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, usually you'll see me, Peter, Lewis, Rick. Um, Probably Amy Perrin's there a lot. Bob from Carnivore Talk is there. Just whoever's part of that group. Actually, I think I don't know if he's ever on that particular thing, but Jeff that you met on Carnivore Talk, um, he Geezer. I think he's actually on there quite a bit. Um,
Mm.
so you meet a lot of people actually on there. I mean, you know, I mean, I actually am part of all three, and I take value. Like, yeah, I do agree that some of them might be a little, but I think it's that difference that makes it better, you know.
Hmm.
And I try taking from every, um, you know. And Lewis makes a good point that HH has nothing on Mondays, so so you're not worrying about like, oh, am I going to miss something from them because I'm going over to Kilts, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
problem with that.
Okay.
You know, yeah, and I don't think even even SPG has anything, so it's like both of them. Um,
Hmm. I am trying to find more lives because I do like being in the comments and like when I can join, I think that's really fun. So
yeah, I mean it is hard with SPG because there's like they can tend to have like 200 people at a time. So it's,
Yeah.
so it does get a little overwhelming.
Hi, Papa Carnivore.
Um,
You missed my story.
yes, you're gonna have to look at the replay there. He's asking if it's scheduled live. Technically, yeah, it was scheduled. That's okay. We only scheduled it like what, like 4 weeks ago. So
Let me change the time too.
yeah, I did. So that part I do have to admit, but I changed it because I started the coaching course, and I thought it was going to bump together.
Hmm.
So yeah, Papa. All right. So since you missed the story, Papa, Lexi,
You want me to tell it again?
I'm just joking.
I can go over the main points if you want.
No, I'm just joking. You know that. Lewis is asking, has anyone joined Kelly Hogan's group?
Mm-mm.
No, I know Kelly Hogan. I've seen her. Um, you know, and Andrea says, let me put that in the thing. It's easier to read once it's on there because then it doesn't like disappear on me.
Hmm.
Um, LOL, Papa Carnivore. Whenever you announce your arrival, I think of you like the Kool-Aid Man bursting through the wall, except with bacon coffee instead of sugar water. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with
Hmm.
that. And yes, and say a comment when you catch the replay, Papa. I like reading the comments, unless they're really bad comments, but I normally like reading the comments.
I
Yeah,
wish somebody would join.
sometimes you get really stupid comments. It's just,
Mm.
you know, like the other day I was doing a live on YouTube itself, and there was this guy that was saying about like how like something about my head or something like that, and I just kind of said to everybody, "Hey, everybody, here's some fun. I'll let you guys make the comments to them." Like just um,
Did you did you see Meathead's comment? Yup, Lexi vaping discreetly.
yep. I was actually okay, and Sandy also says she vapes too. So
I'm trying to quit, guys, okay?
I don't think you have any judgment on that here. Uh, Dustin says if he was home, he'd join in.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
I'm not sure if he means join in on the chat or join in on the vaping.
I don't know. I'm assuming the chat. I don't know.
Yeah, now I know that probably. She just mentioned it
Mm,
before that she vapes. Uh,
mm.
so I will put in the chat one more time because we got uh, at least a half an hour to do. Yeah, I never did. I was never really much of a smoker, to tell you the truth. So I never actually vaped either. But
Mhm. Don't ever start. It's
no, I
horrible.
don't.
I wish I could quit. It's
But, well,
it's.
I hear a lot of stories where people do quit. I think Todd Bachnes was a really bad tobacco chewer or something like that. And
Mhm.
he because of when he did carnivore, he ended up he just stopped.
Mhm.
I mean, and he said that was probably not as hard as giving up sugar. You know. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard so many horror stories about like popcorn lung and like the dangers of vaping. I scared myself with all those videos, but it's like
Yeah.
it's so hard.
Yeah. It's like
But I'm lowering the dose slowly, the nicotine dose.
so. I'm going to go over to YouTube. Let's go there together.
Okay.
And let's see who's in. The thing is, it takes like when I go to the new tab, it takes a while to download. So it's like, or to process, I should say. And
Hmm.
it's even longer for the people in the chat. So it's like, so
Oh,
I
there's
do
Papa Carnivore.
apologize. So I'm going to click on the crown. So it looks like it's the same people. I mean, it changed a little bit. There's more people in here, but um, so now Keto Simple is still number one, with Don Schlanger as number two, Terry number three, and then Happy Jojo at number four, Charger Mopar at number five, a Movie Goats at number six, Oaktown Girl at number seven. It's a brand new Billy Joel song coming out in September. And then Meathead for Life, number eight. And then Mark Johnson, Coach, number nine. So,
I think Papa Carnivore's waiting to join.
oh, I'm sorry. Yes, he is. All right, you ready, Peter? Push the button. There he is. Oh, he went off camera.
Oh
Peter, I'm
no.
sorry. I was looking at a different screen. Try again. So that's so I need more than one computer, so then that way I can like look. I can look at
Mhm.
different screens at the same time. So I'm
Mhm.
actually crowned. I don't know how that happened. So my theory of 5,000 people or more is, I guess, not true because I definitely do not have 5,000 subscribers.
Yeah. That's okay.
Who's asking me if I have a new computer yet? Well, whoever's asking the question, because it just again went right past it. Yes, it's probably Lewis that asked the question. There we go. All right, hang on, Peter. Do you hear us?
Wait, let me see. Let's see. There.
All right.
Hello.
You don't
I
want to
can
be
see. Can you hear
spinning
me?
it? Me, you look like you're in a dryer. Yeah.
So I missed the story.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to watch it on the replay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
Well,
fine.
that'll be good practice for Kerry and for Dave Mack.
I know.
Lexi has a talent agent.
Yeah, I know.
Did you know that?
Yeah, he's in this room right now. I know.
You see how fast I got her to 2 interviews? It took 1 day.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
So I was just at Mitch's meetup. I just got home from Melbourne,
Oh
Florida,
yeah.
and I was with Dr. Kiltz. I was with Dr. Nelson. I was with Mitch. I mean, you can't do much better than those three.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, obviously, I never met
Yep.
Doctor Mitch. I never met Doctor Mitch. Excuse me. But I met Dr. Nelson and Dr. Kiltz the other day, and yeah, they're wonderful. They really are.
Yeah.
And you're breaking up there a little bit, Papa Carnivore.
Oh, I'm in a lobby.
Oh,
Can
okay.
you
Good,
hear
probably,
me?
probably not great reception.
Hold on, I'm gonna move.
Okay.
Let me move over here. Is this better?
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit more. You know.
How about now?
Yeah, that's better. I mean, I can't speak for Lexi, but for me, it's much better.
You're better. Yeah.
So I was gonna say, so a lot of the carnivores actually vape.
Yeah,
No way.
yeah, yeah. It's not very uncommon.
Yeah. I, I used to vape for 4 years. I used to smoke cigarettes. Um, well, off and on, but the last time after I got divorced in 2012, I smoked until about 2015, and then I vaped from like 2015 to, I don't know, for like 4 years, I guess. And then I lowered down the nicotine like over time down to zero, and then
Yep.
I just quit.
Mm.
That's what I'm
But it
doing.
was
Yeah.
pretty. Yeah, I mean, it was, and then it just becomes more of a habit. You know what I mean? Where
Hmm.
it's just a habit.
Yep.
But once you're off the actual nicotine, it's a lot easier. And then you just have to come up with another habit. That, and this habit is carnivore. Actually, you'll find that you'll like, I just stopped drinking. I just didn't want the alcohol anymore after carnivore. I just didn't want it. I just felt better without it. And I think that's what you'll find is that as you start getting cleaner and cleaner and cleaner on your diet, and your mind is better and your health is better, you just will want to cut out the things that don't make you feel as good. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And it's kind of a process. It just takes a little time. But
Hmm.
I'm not like I was a big drinker, but I was a social drinker, and I'd go out and get some beers, or I'd have some wine or whatever. But it just I just ended up, you know, my special drink is Topo Chico, some sparkling
Hmm.
water, maybe put a little lemon or lime on there. That's it. Yeah.
Waterloo.
So if I go out to like drink, if I go out with people and they're drinking, I order a Topo Chico or a Pellegrino with a lime or a lemon wedge. No one
Mhm.
knows any different. It looks like a drink.
Yeah. All right. So we got
I just
somebody in here. Not in here, but in here. Some
Oh, so
new guy, new person.
You know who Beefy 707 is?
No.
mm.
That's fake Kerry.
You're kidding me. Oh my god. Oh my god. Have I
Hi,
That's
moved
who
fake
it
up?
is.
Carrie.
That's the guy.
Has my channel moved up in the world? That I'm actually getting fake carry in here?
Yeah, that's the guy. That's fake Kerry.
Well, Beefy, I like the name, and I'm glad you now have your own identity. So that's pretty cool.
He's a good guy. I like Beefy.
I'm
I
sure
mean,
he
I like
is.
fake Kerry. I don't know.
I always want him
Ask
to have his
Beefy
own
what his real
identity.
name is.
You know,
Ask
like be
Beefy what
your
his
own
first
person.
name is.
What's his first name?
Beefy, what's your first name? You think he'll give us his name, his real name?
He actually says here that I'm not going to take it off, but he says, "LOL, you're a celebrity target prime." So thank you for that, Beefy. I appreciate that. How is Lexi liking the carnivore diet?
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it so much. My psychotic symptoms have decreased by like 80%, and I've only made it like 3 weeks. Like I just started week 4, and actually my intrusive thoughts have gotten better too. I have OCD intrusive thoughts. Top carnivore, you still there?
Hello. Oh, sorry
Tom,
about
he's
that. For
he's
some
still in
reason,
the waiting room.
Am I gone?
you should be back now. Can you
Am
hear
I
us?
back?
Now you're back.
Yeah, I guess I dropped out for a second.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's fine. Um,
That's okay.
Andrea's asking,
So
what are
I
the
Lexi, you
new
were
was
saying
ideas?
saying
about
that
your
my
I'm sorry.
my OCD intrusive thoughts have gotten so much better. I have this huge bug fear, and like I I still check for them, but not in my room and not nearly as often. It's more my intrusive thoughts that's gotten better because it used to be all day, every day, constant intrusive thoughts about bugs. I'm
yeah.
not going to go into detail about which ones because then I'll trigger myself and other people probably. But I have a
That's
huge
very
bug
common
fear and
for
it.
schizophrenia.
Yep, intrusive thoughts for
That's
sure.
yeah, it's common for schizophrenia.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right.
Yep,
So,
but it's gotten better
Rick and
since starting carnivore.
Good.
Beefy are talking amongst each
Some
other.
schizophrenics have spiders. Spiders is the, like,
Yeah,
in
Oh yeah, like
particular. I don't
Carpone.
know why.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And he kicked himself out again, and I was nowhere near it. So I don't know. You keep on kicking yourself out there.
I just have a bad connection. I'm in the lobby of my condo building.
No, you just want to like have it. You just want to make an entrance every time. That's what it is. I'll
but
leave, so I have to come back.
but Lexi, just keep the fat high. Keep the fat high.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Oh,
nervous. Well, I was in a Healing Humanity meeting yesterday, and Coach Lisa was saying how I should lower my fat. I've been gaining weight. That's another reason why I'm like, you're saying no. Okay.
No, 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 no. First of all, don't worry about your weight. We got to fix this first. And once you
Yeah.
get that fixed, then we can lower that. Once that's fixed, we can start lowering that down. Don't if you lower the fat down, you risk going backwards on this.
Yep.
I'm
That's
serious.
true.
And the weight can always be fixed. That's an easy fix, right, Thomas?
yeah. I definitely agree with that. Wait. I think the weight is there when you need healing. I know it sounds
Mm,
crazy, but I think that when you heal certain parts of you, the weight will come off. Like that, it's like sort of like that, like chipping out
Well,
a
also,
sculpture. It's like, you know, sorry, Peter, you were about to
well,
say.
also as this gets better and you get better here, you're going to and your energy rises and
Mhm.
becomes higher and higher. You're going to naturally want to you're going to be like jumping out of your skin, but not because of intrusive thoughts and things like that. You're going to be jumping out of your skin with high energy and to where you're
mm,
just going to have to move your body. Do you know what I mean? And that, like for
mm.
me, I had to start taking these long walks, and
Mhm.
the long walks are actually really really good for your. If you can somehow start walking, just get out and start walking. uh, it's my mental like therapy is
Yeah.
walking. I can't tell you how
That's
much that did for me.
That's my next goal is to go for a walk by myself. I just get
Yes,
so scared and paranoid. I get paranoid that someone's following me, that they're gonna kidnap me.
right,
And so
right,
that's
right,
my next goal. That's
right.
to go for a walk by myself. I want to say
But
though really quick, um, like there's some critics of medical keto being used to treat severe mental illness. They'll say that the reason why it's healing people's mental illness is because they're losing weight. I'm evidence, like I've gained like 6 pounds since starting carnivore, and I'm still healing my mental illness. So
right, it has
yeah, I don't
nothing.
know.
One has nothing. The weight has nothing to do whatsoever with
Yeah.
the healing the mental. Believe me, you're talking to someone who is a diagnosed bipolar depression, chronic
That's right.
anxiety disorder, O, little bit of OCD. I have like odd even number OCD. I don't know if you ever heard of that. Like, but like I can't put the thermostat on an odd number in my car, at home. Like odd number. If
Everything
it
has to be
ends in a
even. Yeah.
one, a three, a five, a seven, a nine, I can't put the thermostat on 66 because that's the mark of the devil. Like I have all these weird things. The number 13. Like I have all this weird stuff.
Right.
So I have a lot of that stuff, and it's gotten a lot better. But I had ADHD, terrible, terrible ADHD. So and I was on medicine for all this stuff. But if you talk to me now, you would have no idea, like talking to me, probably that I have any of those issues. Would you? You really wouldn't know. I mean, I'm kind of crazy, but I'm crazy in a good way.
I mean, you told us,
I
so
feel
I'm a
that's
like
how we
carnivore.
know.
I mean, that's crazy. That's a one
what'd you say?
percent of the world. You know.
What'd you say, Tom?
And I just pretty much said like, well, now we all know now, but
Well, I mean, anybody
you
who's
just
doing
told the world
carnivore, which
or are
and
part of it.
everybody in the world is saying the complete opposite of
Oh
what
yeah.
they tell us to eat, right? I mean, I mean, if you told somebody I'm eating 70 to 80% of my diet in animal fat, saturated fat, animal fat, literally 70 to 80% of what I eat is animal fat, and the rest of it is animal protein. people like going, "What you're going to die? You're going to kill yourself? That's dangerous, right?" But actually, it's the exact opposite. It's the plants, as Dr. Kiltz tells you, that's causing not only the inflammation here, Lexi, but throughout the whole body and causing all this
Mhm.
inflammation.
Yeah.
And as you know, the mental illness, where it starts in your gut. It
Mhm.
starts in the gut. It's the brain barrier, the whole, lining of your gut. And when you eat all these plants, it gives you like leaky gut, and then all these toxins get into your bloodstream. They're
Yeah.
not those toxins and microbes are not supposed to be in your blood. And then it goes, then it gets into your blood, which wrecks your serotonin, all the stuff in your brain. It all emanates out of the gut. So when you fix the gut, and I think Dr. Kilt says this all the time, animal fat and especially if you can non-rendered but more raw animal fat, which is the best type of fat, it kills the microbes in your gut. It literally suppresses all those bad boys in your gut, okay? That are causing everything that's causing you all these voices and all of these things. For me, I wasn't hearing voices, but I mean, I was having these terrible thoughts of, like impending doom, like the phone would ring and I would be like, oh my God, I don't know if you ever get that where the phone rings and the worst thought, who could that, oh my God, this horrible, I don't know. But, um, do you know carnivorous grandma Robin Heron? Do you
Yeah.
guys know her?
Mhm.
She's really great. Well, she had that. When the phone would ring, it was like, oh my God, the worst thing in the world. Like, oh my God, one of my kids died or something. Oh my God, this something terrible has happened. Why would somebody be calling me? Do you know what I mean? Or oh my God, it's a bill
Yeah.
collector. It's a collection agency. It's a lawyer looking for me to put me in jail. So in a
Yeah.
way,
You're always
that's
like
kind
this.
of intrusive thoughts, right? Just people don't normally think like that, right? But I had all of those weird things, just terrible anxiety all the time. So um, when I started with this, that's why I said, Lexi, the high fat is
Yeah.
everything. It
It
is
is,
so
especially for
important.
severe
And the
mental
fat, we
illness,
can get rid of the
especially.
fat. We can get rid of the excess weight, rather, not the fat. We can get rid of the excess weight as you start feeling better. Your energy will increase. I promise you, your energy is going to start getting crazy high, and that's when you're just going to feel like you have to do something. Whether it's walking, whether it's just getting on a treadmill in the gym. If you don't want to, you want to stay in a safe place. Good, maybe there's a gym or somewhere you can go around a lot of
I'm
people.
in. I'm a part of a gym. I'm a part of Planet Fitness,
Yeah, yeah, and
but
just get on a
I.
treadmill and just put on your headphones, and put on some music or put on some carnivore videos. That's what I do, and just listen to watch carnivore videos or watch watch chewing the fat.
Mhm.
It's a pretty good show. I like that show.
I mean, it's a great show. You ever heard of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Please.
I want to get back into strength training. I used to weight lift. I did that for like a year from like 2022, no, 20, all of 2023. I was strength training like 3 days a week. I got really strong, which is nice.
Right.
But then I started medical keto, and yeah, that was the year I started medical keto, and I kind of fell off of the gym because I was so focused
But
on the diet.
just remember, I love Coach Lisa is awesome. I can't say enough great things about her. I think she's one of the best, if not the best, carnivore coaches out there. But when you start talking about, oh, I'm gaining weight, she's immediately going to pivot to, okay, you got to cut back the fat, which I get that. But what she may not know your whole picture of where you're coming from on the mental side, that you're still trying to cure
Hmm.
this. So
Yeah.
yes, I think eventually she's right. If you want to at some point experiment with lowering the fat down, a little bit, or eating a little bit less, or whatever, to start shedding some of the weight, but not until everything up here feels like you're like cooking with Crisco. You know what I mean? And you're not
I'm
there.
just
Yeah.
You're getting there. You're getting closer.
Now, I have.
the weight. Yeah,
Sorry.
Go ahead.
no, just that I have a. The other day when we were talking on healing humanity, did I hear you correctly that you eat a lot of liquid fat, like a lot of
Mhm.
rendered? See that I could
Yep.
never. I don't know about you, Peter, but I could never do that.
Well,
I'd be on
so
the pot like a lot. If I
It
did.
took it. I had to get used to that in the beginning.
Okay.
Last year when I did medical keto, like I mean, I can't fully remember. It didn't take very long for my body to get used to it, but I did have like some digestive issues in the beginning. Now I can have like 4 or 5 tablespoons of melted coconut oil and be fine as long as I have it with my meal. Or like I guess in between my lunch today and right before this Zoom or this live, I had a couple tablespoons of butter by itself. I just melted it, mixed it with some water, and I was fine. So I
yeah,
think I'm just
what
my
I hope
body's just used to it.
what I hope we can get you to do is um, slowly replace the MCT oil, the coconut oil, or whatever. Start
Mhm.
replacing that like with butter or animal fat.
Yep.
Like, but
Yeah. Ever
you don't
since
have. I don't
ever
want you to
since
go like just stop it. I want you to instead of doing 4 tablespoons. What do you do? Tablespoons or teaspoons?
tablespoons.
Okay, so you do what, like 4 a day or something?
I was doing 3 to 4 tablespoons of coconut oil with my meals, but then I realized that was way too much, so I cut down to two per meal. But
Okay.
but since that conversation with Coach Lisa, where she brought up how maybe I'm craving so much of the coconut oil because it's a plant instead of me having animal fat, like
Yeah.
maybe if I
Yeah,
switch back
that
to
I agree.
animal fat,
Yeah.
yeah, like maybe I'll
I,
need less fat. Like still higher fat,
I,
but like maybe I won't crave it as much.
yeah. Eventually, I think we well, as soon as you can try and just move towards animal like butter. You can listen. Butter is one of the best things. I put tons of butter in my morning coffee with some bait. I put a little bacon grease in there, that I catch from making bacon. I'll store it in a little pot in my refrigerator. But again, and I used to use MCT oil like you. I was doing that, and I slowly weaned off that and replaced exact amount of that fat with butter and a little bacon grease, and then just um, fatty cuts of meat. I tried to get more fat. You know what I mean? And so, if we can get you somehow off those plant oils, because they're still
Mhm.
plants. It's oil, it's fat. I mean, so your brain likes that, but it would like. I think it'll heal your gut faster if we get all the plant oils out and just replace that with butter and whether it's tallow or bacon grease, whatever. I think
Mhm.
you'll
And
you'll feel better.
isn't and isn't plant fat that's like ALA fat, and then animal fat is like DHA, right? And ALA isn't as like bioavailable in your brain as DHA, right? I don't know if you guys know anything
Well,
about that.
yeah. The DHA and EPH, those different oils, um, those different types of fats, they're really mostly found in animals. You know,
Mhm.
um, like coconut oil and avocado oil. Those are more linoleic acids. They're different. They're plant oils. Okay,
Mhm.
and they're just different. You know, so it's not that it's terrible for you. I mean, look, coconut oil and avocado oil are better than seed oils. Okay, it's not even
Yeah.
close. But if we, but what, but any animal fat is better than coconut oil or avocado oil. Do you know what I mean?
My
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
my
if you
main
want to
thing
supercharge your brain, huh?
My main thing is I have to find types of fat where I don't have to eat it solid because I cannot stand the texture of solid fat. I prefer to melt my fat and just drink it. It's just so much easier. And so I've tried beef fat trimmings. I used to cook it and I hated the texture. But I mean, can't you
Well,
make beef tallow out of rendering beef
well,
fat trimmings?
you can buy beef tallow if you
It's
go on
expensive.
Amazon. It is. It's it. But the best way to do it is just buy beef fat trimmings. Just
Yeah.
go to
Yeah,
a
just
grocery store, or there's probably, if you go to the butcher counter and say, "Hey, I want to buy some animal fat for my dog." Whatever. I
I've
just
done
want to
that.
buy some animal
Mm,
fat. Just the fat that you throw. You're probably throwing it away. I want to just buy a big bag of fat. If you can either give it to me or I'll pay you a small amount of money for it. I know you're probably throwing it away. Can you give me a big giant bag of beef fat? Big bag.
mm-hmm.
Like 10-pound bag or whatever. Whatever. I'll
It's
pay you. It's
I,
$1, $2 a pound, whatever you want. I'll pay you. But I
my
promise you, they're
butcher,
probably throwing it away. And then all you do is
my
put it
butcher.
in a slow cooker and cook it down, and then just get a strainer, strain, like a metal mesh screener kind of thing. Pour that, into like a glass jar, right? And then you can, or into a bowl, like just drain it into like a plastic bowl, and then take your bowl and take that same strainer or a funnel and just put some paper towel in there, and that's like a second straining to get the fine particles out. The metal strainer will get the
Mm,
big pieces, but then take your bowl and re strain it one more time into a glass jar. That's what I do, using like a funnel with paper towel, and that will get all the fine particles. It's so
and
easy. It's
do
like a
you?
fun little project. It's like a craft project. Now you have
Yeah.
tallow. Okay. Now the
Do you?
tallow
So
is it will solidify in room temperature to a white solid, right? But you can heat that up, Lexi, and drink it. You can heat it
yep.
to warm it up till it doesn't take much to get it liquid again, and not like it's boiling or anything, but just heat it up on low heat, like in a saucepan, or you can even put it in the microwave, for a few,
Yeah.
just a little bit, just till it turns into liquid,
Melts.
and then you can either
Mm-hmm.
pour it over your eggs or your meat or whatever, or you can just drink it like you're used to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So do you cook it in the instant pot or in the slow cooker? And do you put
Well,
water?
I have a just a old fashioned inexpensive crock pot, like a crock pot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can use an
Yep.
instant pot, put it on low, just, yeah, instant pot or any kind of slow cooker, just on low, you can put it on low or high heat. I think I use high heat on my crock pot. I think I use high. I think I put it on high in the crock pot, and I just let it go until it renders at, till, and then I just take out any big pieces that are left and throw those away. And then the liquid, I just kind of start my process that I was just telling you about. Now, the other
I'm
thing,
gonna do.
obviously, is butter. If you're okay with butter, you can just melt some butter, and that's liquid,
The main
and
thing
it's
with butter
delicious.
is
Liquid butter is
if
delicious.
I it is. If I have too much of it, though, it causes cystic acne on my chin, which is why I'm only having a couple of the tablespoons of it with my meal.
Then I
So,
would
but
use. Then I
I
would
will.
go with I'd go the tallow route. Make your own tallow. It's super cheap,
Yep.
and you won't get the cystic. You won't have any of those skin issues. I have no skin issues with butter.
Hmm.
I mean, you can get ghee. You can buy ghee, but ghee is now you're getting expensive. Ghee is not cheap, But yeah, you could buy ghee. Now there is a way, right, Thomas, to make ghee from butter, right? By boiling the
There
butter.
is. Yep.
well, it's the clarified butter, yeah. So
Yeah, but I mean, what you're
I don't know
doing
what
is
the process is, but
rendering out the. There's got to be YouTube videos on how to
oh,
make
there
ghee out of
is.
butter.
There definitely is. I've just never watched them. So, but I know ghee
Hmm.
does come from. It's like
Lexi, I'm
clarified.
sure that's easy too.
Yeah, it's like clarified butter.
Yeah, that's another easy thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's
So
what. And then
I
what
want to.
about you? You don't like eating steak, like fat off a steak, like you don't like
I
the
really
fat
don't
on a
like
steak.
steak. I don't like steak.
you don't like
No.
steak? Oh, okay. Like, do you think you'll ever like steak,
Mm-mm.
or do you just think it's something you'll never like? Like it's
Do
just
you
something.
eat
I just
burgers?
don't like the flavor. I love burgers.
Okay,
7327 burgers.
Okay.
burgers are
But
great.
So
it's
do
just
you
this.
pour all that rendered fat from the burger, all the juices back? Do you drink all that? All the juices from
I
the burger,
should.
the
The
tallow,
re-
that's
the
what you need to
reason
do.
why I the reason why I don't is because I was cooking them with, like, I was still having onion at that point, and also the seasoning that I put in my burger. I thought that does something. Can I still save it?
Can you still
Yeah,
say what?
yeah,
Yeah.
You can still save it?
yeah. So you were
Okay.
using seasonings.
Yeah.
Okay, it's okay. You can still take the seasoned juices. That's fine. You can take that whatever seasoning you were putting and pour it back over top. It doesn't matter. It's just juices. The
I
only
mean,
thing
like,
some people have a problem. Some people have a problem pouring the liquid, fat back on top of the burger, but you don't have that problem. Like I mean, bathroom issues. So
mm-mm.
yeah, just pour it on top.
I mean,
I
like
just use
long.
salt.
I mean, like long term saving it. Can I like pour it into a jar, and even if it does have seasoning in it, and then like
Mhm.
keep it for however many weeks and just like drink it like that, or will it go bad?
You can
Yeah, I think it had to
you
be
can,
cleaned a
but
little
if you
bit.
just if you were to just cook the burgers, um, if you were just to cook the burger with nothing on it, right, and let that tallow just render out, right, the fat, take the burger out, and then you can start making tallow from just plain burger fat. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
And then you
Mm-hmm.
can just season the burger separately. You know what I mean?
Mm, I never thought
So
to do
season
that.
the burger after it's cooked.
Does that taste the same?
I mean, I don't. It doesn't taste much. If you're just sprinkling something on your burger, I mean, I don't know. It's just,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
Mm,
really use. I just use salt. I use salt and butter on my burgers. That's it.
mm,
Have you ever tried
no,
just using salt and butter on your burgers?
no. I put garlic powder and onion powder, but maybe I'll just try salt. If I'm rendering the burgers with just salt, can I still save it, or does it have to have like nothing
I would no.
in the?
I would just put the salt on your burger after you cook it. It's fine. You sprinkle a little salt on it. Yeah, you want to
Okay.
just do plain tallow, and then you can make the tallow from your burger fat, and now you've got
Okay.
there's your fat. You pour
Okay.
some of it back on top of your burger, but then save the rest is what I'm saying. Yeah,
That sounds good. That sounds easy too.
but
I
the
just.
best thing to do is just buy fat trimmings and make your own tallow separate. You know what I mean? You'll get a lot more yield out of that. But and just cook your burgers the way you were doing it, just with the seasoning and cook it with the onions, whatever you want to do, and just pour it back on top. Just do that. That's fine. But if you want to make tallow, the best way to do it is just buy some beef fat trimmings and make your own.
Hmm. I'll have
And
to
then
do
you
that.
just
Yeah.
melt that. And anytime you want some fat, just like you were doing with MCT oil, except you just have to heat it up a little before you eat it.
Mhm.
You got to liquefy it because it will turn like to a white solid. You can just leave it on your counter. You don't have to put it in a like a mason jar with a screw top or whatever. Just you can leave it
I
on your
have those. Yeah.
counter. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's fine.
Okay. Thank you.
No, you're welcome.
Yeah, I don't like steak, Rick. I
You
just
know
don't like
what
the
though?
flavor of
Eventually, you
it.
know what, Lexi?
You know,
Over
everybody
time,
does.
you'll start to like it. You'll see it. It takes time. It takes time. Over time, I think
I,
you're going to start liking it. It takes a little time.
it's also expensive. It's pretty expensive.
It is. It is.
I think the
Mhm.
hamburger meat is great.
Mhm.
I do the hamburger meat 90% of the time, and then I sprinkle the steaks in there. You
Are
know.
you getting the high fat burgers like 73,
Oh yeah,
27? Are you trying?
Mhm.
from Walmart. Yep.
Love
The
those.
Yeah,
73.
get the highest fat you can get,
And I
and
recently
then
just bought
pour all that fat right on top of your burger, that's going to keep your fat nice and high.
yep. And I actually added I actually got bison tallow, which is pretty interesting. So
What does
Wow.
that taste like?
not much different than beef tallow, to tell you the truth. At least I
I've
don't.
never,
Yeah.
I've never, I've never had beef tallow before. Like I usually just dump the grease that comes from my burgers.
It just
So
from the
What do you do with the grease from the burger?
I eat
I
it.
just poured
No.
into this grease. Are you talking to me or him?
You. Yeah.
So I just poured into like this grease trap thing. Yeah, but
So
I
you
want to start saving it.
so you're not so you're not using it at all. You're just throwing it away.
Yeah, I thought since I was cooking with
Okay.
seasonings that I couldn't save it.
No, you can't. I mean, you can certainly. It's just seasonings. You're just consuming the seasoning, but yeah, um, maybe try and cut back a little bit on the seasoning. Not so much seasoning, just a little bit. Use a little more salt and a little less seasoning,
Yeah.
and then yeah, pour it back on top. And if you don't have massive bathroom issues, which I don't think you will, if you're pouring that much MCT oil on your food, you should have
I
no
not on
problems.
my food. I just poured in a cup.
Well, but
I
I
don't
mean, you're
put
eating
any
it.
of.
I'm sorry. I mean, you're eating it.
Yeah.
But still, if you're consuming that much MCT oil, anybody with bathroom issues, if they tried to do even 2 tablespoons in a meal of MCT oil, they'd be running to the bathroom. So if you're not having that problem, then just pour. Yeah, try pouring that. Um, it's basically tallow is all it is, and just drink it. Or
Hmm.
pour it on top of your burger. Take a spoon like soup and sop it and just drink it. It's delicious.
I just went grocery shopping on Monday. I think I already said that, but I there was a 5 pound tube of 73.27 ground beef that was on sale for like $10. I was
Oh my god.
I was so I was pumped. I was like, yes. I mean, my house manager was like, I wonder why it was on sale for that much because
Who
it's five
said?
pounds of ground beef. But my house manager,
Who asked you about? Who said?
my house
Your
manager,
husband?
my group homes, my house
Uh huh.
manager.
Oh, your house manager.
Hmm. Yeah, I live in a group home.
Oh, cool. So, how many
Hmm.
tubes did you buy?
Just one, because it's 5 pounds. That's
Oh,
gonna. I mean, it's
that's
gonna
such a
last.
good deal.
I should have
Yeah,
got two of them. That would have
yeah,
lasted like a couple weeks, I think.
yeah, yeah.
For
Whenever
me,
you see a
anyways. I don't.
whenever you see a special like that for $2 a pound on burgers, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Hmm. Definitely.
And who says that carnivore is expensive, Thomas?
I know. I think I save a lot of money doing carnivore.
Any questions out there?
Uh, there was one before. I had it up, but uh, from Andrea, asking about MCT oil, being pretty much being. Let me see if I can find it because that was like about 30 chats ago. Um, but basically asking, isn't it best for the brain because of like for ketosis and stuff like that? Um, I actually personally, this is what I hear. Okay, and if I'm wrong, I apologize because I'm not a doctor, and nor do I play one on TV. But I heard the brain is pretty much made of fat and cholesterol. So, in my opinion, fat is what we need to help the brain. You know, and also the cholesterol is what we need to help. So, um, that being said, I think any fat would be beneficial for brain health.
Hmm.
I agree.
I definitely think animal fat would give me more brain benefits, though, for sure.
Yeah.
And I could eat less of it. I love pork fat, like from cooking bacon, the grease. I like to save that. I actually have a bunch of bacon, so I can make that tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that's good too. If you can tolerate that, you can even pour some of that bacon fat on your burger.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like that idea. Mhm.
yeah. Like I said, you're not having bathroom issues with liquid fat, so go for it. There's your there's your replacement for the MCT right there.
Mhm.
And MCT oil's not cheap.
I just do coconut oil.
Oh, okay, but coconut oil is not as highly refined as real MCT oil.
Right.
So this is going to be way better.
How's line going?
It's actually going pretty well. I did go off the rails a little bit, Juliet, I did have some coffee. I had 1 cup. So, but that's if you look at the replays. I actually had a sleeping situation. So,
Wait, hold on, I'm on the phone.
stupid cough.
Doggy.
It's a Jersey girl.
Somebody's
Here's my
breeding it.
Jersey. Can you see her?
Mhm. What were you saying, Tom?
Oh no, I'm reading and talking at the same time. So, um,
Where's my
some people
baby?
can do that. I can't really do that. I
Where's
used to
my,
have a friend who used to be able to read and walk in the hallways all the time. It's like, how the
where's
hell do
my
you do
baby?
that without falling on your face?
I know.
He'd be like this.
Yeah.
It's just walk.
Yeah. I can't do that.
Yeah,
I mean, when I used to go on the treadmill, this was a long time ago. When I would go on the treadmill, I'd try to read, so I could do. But like walking in public, I would
well,
not be able
I
to
could do it on the
read.
treadmill because even though I'm walking on the treadmill, I'm going only in that spot. But to walk in the hallways when
Mhm.
you don't know anybody who's walking in front of you, you don't know. That's the part I was like really confused by. You know. Um,
Mhm.
Andrea says your pup cake is very cute, Peter. So
That's Jersey girl. She's 14, no teeth.
yeah,
She's really cute. She's got tons of energy. You would think she's 2 years old, but she's 14. I got her when she was 8 weeks old. She was a rescue.
is she
She looks
carnivore?
like a little white toy poodle. She's very
Do you
cute.
feed her carnivore or no?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
She
so
sits
that's why
there.
she has all that energy because she's carnivore now.
Yeah, I sit there, I eat my steak, and I eat a bite. She eats a bite. I eat a bite. She eats a bite. She cries, paws at me till she gets her meat. Oh, she cries for that meat. She cries for eggs. Yep, she loves it.
So Juliet says that her nickname's Jersey's Girl. So do you come from New Jersey, Juliet?
Is she from Jersey?
That's
What part of Jersey?
right.
I'm from Philadelphia, from Philly, but I used to have a house at the Jersey Shore.
Oh,
So,
whereabouts?
in Margate, like near Atlantic City.
Oh, Bar. Okay.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
like a block. It was a beach house. It was like a block from the ocean.
Well, I only asked that question because I grew up in Point Pleasant,
Oh,
which is only about like 5 towns away from me now. So
yeah, you're just further north.
yeah, I'm near, like, I'm right next to Belmar. Like, I have the same Belmar zip code, but technically I'm in Wall.
So you'd go to the beaches in Belmar?
Not in many years, no, but usually I will. Well, Belmar, Point Pleasant. I've done mostly growing up. I've done mostly Point Pleasant because
Oh, yeah.
I had a job on the boardwalk, different jobs at the arcades and stuff like that. So
Wow.
yeah,
And
yeah. I'm
Lexi,
a clam digger, or at least a former.
Where do you live again?
I live in Minnesota.
Minnesota?
Mhm.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so she just answered the question that we asked. So Rawway, and she lived in Marlboro and College of Rutgers, New York. So Marlboro is not too far from Neptune, from Belmar, Neptune. That's cool. She spent teen years in Belmar every summer. So maybe we bumped into each other and we never knew it. Um, the Rawway, I've been to Rawway. Yeah, I've been to Marlboro too, obviously.
Cool.
And I've been to Newark. My mom was actually born in Newark, so
My battery's about to die here.
okay.
I'm going to sign off, but good to see you guys.
Good seeing you too.
Bye. Have a good day.
Bye.
Aloha. All right. So that was cool. Being
Mhm.
on. So
That gave me good ideas.
that's good. That's good.
Mhm.
So well, that's cool. Juliet says she's going to visit her mom in Barnegat in 2 weeks, so that's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, I wish I knew if my mom was here. She hasn't commented. Maybe
Um,
is 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 the
Mom, if you're
comments on
here, we'd love to hear from you.
are these the same comments that are on the YouTube channel?
He should be, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't see her. Maybe she'll watch later.
So,
I don't even know what her YouTube channel is.
so, um,
Oh, Lewis said, I saved tallow from salted meat, no issues. That's good to know. That was earlier on.
Mark is saying to hit the thumbs up. So yes, please, people, hit the thumbs up and show your support. Which just by being here, you're showing support. I think a lot of you came to see Lexi, which I agree with wholeheartedly. Um, okay, get back to line. How you feel? Okay. Like I said, I just had a cup of coffee because I was tired. I was tired, tired, tired. Yeah, like I said, I only had like 2 hours of sleep, so um, you know. And I figured too, it's like I'm doing the strict line in every other way. So if I just restrict it no more than 2 cups a day, make sure there's no cream in it, just black coffee, I should be fine. And then eventually I'll take off that too, or wean it off just to see. But for July, I might just do the coffee too. I don't know. I don't know. It's a work in progress. That isn't that what we all are. We're just a work in progress.
Yes.
You know, like it's not the destination. It's the journey that we're going on, and that's the important thing. You All right. So I had a good time. I
Hmm.
hope you had a good time, Lexi. I hope everybody in the chat's
I
had a good.
did.
So I think I mean, do you feel you've learned anything, or do you feel that you learned a little bit more about yourself, or anything like that? Sometimes when you tell these stories, you're like listening, you're like, I never realized that, or I knew it, but
Hmm.
hearing it out loud really takes some presence.
I think what I learned about myself is I can tell a story. I thought not I've been praying a lot about this interview just because I was so nervous. I was excited. I've been excited this whole time, but I was nervous just because I kind of go back and forth when I'm telling stories. Sometimes I had too much detail, sometimes not enough. And so I was worrying about that. And like, I kind of was rehearsing what I wanted to say, but like, not fully, I guess. But I was trying to plan out what I wanted to say. So, but I don't know. I felt like I did a good job, I hope.
I
I
think
feel
you
like
did
I got my
wonderful.
story across.
I think you did wonderful. I really do. Um,
Thank you.
you know, so all right. So I'm not sure when, because I'll be working tonight again. So I really don't want to do a live tomorrow. If I do, it's going to be totally unexpected for both of us, for all of us.
Okay.
Um, and then what's the next day? Friday would be today's Wednesday, right? Yeah.
Hmm.
So Friday would be the next one. So I might do. I might start doing my lives, like just no more than 3 days a week, just to kind of
Mm.
taper off a little bit, um, for many reasons. I'm not sure. Uh, I did enjoy myself with you, Lexi. So thank you for that. Um,
Mm.
and I enjoyed every part of it. I enjoyed Peter and everybody too. Um,
Yeah, me too.
and I liked how we did. And please and thank you guys for sending the questions. And Andrea, sorry that I actually did put it out there, but unfortunately I wasn't able to stop for a couple seconds to ask the question for you, so it going off the thing. So I apologize on that. Um, so I'm going to end it here, and until I see you again, live, love, heal, And for God's sakes, people, eat meat.
Love that.